Okay, so we're a class 1 medical device and our target audience is in Asia. So my question is, what are your opinions of manufacturers in Asia, specifically in China? I know we can probably get a good quote from people from China, the manufacturers, but what about the piracy issues? Are they still something I should be concerned of, especially at this early stage for a startup?
The answer is there's two issues with outsourcing to China. One is the piracy issue and the other is the quality issue. China has come a long way in the past decade. They're a lot better than they used to be, but there are still issues that you need to be aware of. And one of the key things about manufacturing in China is, again, you need to go there. You need to go there, you need to show them your face, you need to establish a relationship. It's a much more relationship-based type of business than it is in North America. But there is the piracy issue and there is a quality issue. And the quality issue is that even if your supplier is qualified, even if they have 13485, there tends in China to be a more relaxed attitude to 13485 than there is here or there is in Europe. And I'm not quite sure how they get away with that, but I've had a couple of companies that were doing business in China and products came in the door and they had changed something. And, you know, they called them up and said, "Why did you change this part?" And they said, "Well, we couldn't get this other part." And they said, "You can't change a part without telling us. You know, it's in the contract and it's against 13485 anyway." And they said, "Well, you know, we had no other choice, otherwise we couldn't send the product to you, so we did." That to me is not acceptable. So the onus is on you to do due diligence and to make sure that you know, you look at their audit reports from their auditor. They don't theoretically have to show you those reports, but if they want your business, you have to insist on it. Again, talk to people talk to their customers extensively. Find out if there are any quality issues, if there have been any piracy issues. The problem is with piracy. I mean, they're, as I said, they've gotten better, but if there is staff turnover, there's just kind of a general culture that employees will take secrets from one place to another place, and it's hard to change that culture. So, you know, talk to them about it, talk to their customers about it, do your due diligence, be careful. Manufacturing costs, especially if you're not transporting those goods back to North America, but you're selling them in China. Most of the time, the Chinese FDA essentially requires you to have a partnership in China in order to sell in China anyway, right? Usually they require a certain percentage of the product to be manufactured in China before they will grant you clearance to sell the product.
Great. In follow-up to that question, so the question here is, I've heard that some vendors will subcontract to another vendor, and the startup might not even kind of be aware of that happening. Have you heard of this happening? And if so, is having a strong contract enough? As you mentioned, it is all about relationships when it comes to manufacturing in China.
So the problem with contracts with China or anybody else, if you're a startup, is that if somebody breaks your contract, you cannot call the police, right? You have to take them to court. And as a startup, taking somebody to court is a very daunting prospect. When I had my company, we had a contract with C.R. Barr, big, huge firm. They had essentially bought one of our products and wanted us to manufacture it for them, and we signed this whole big contract, and they violated that contract, and we went down to Boston and contacted a lawyer and poured our hearts out to this lawyer, and the lawyer looked at us and said, "You've got a very strong case. You're going to win." And then Bard's going to appeal. And you might win again. And Bard's going to appeal again. And you have to decide whether you're in the medical instrument business or whether you're in the suing Bard business, because you can't be in both. So we dropped it. We got our revenge on Bard by outselling them with a similar product, and we carried on. So it's even worse when you're dealing in the Far East, Japan, China, any of those other countries, because you will generally have to sign a contract based on their law. And even if you sign a contract based on Canadian law, your chances of suing them are remote. So the contract is kind of a moral agreement as opposed to a legal agreement, and the only way you can enforce it properly is by having a great relationship with those people and by making them aware that you're going to publicize any problems through social media, and that's going to affect their business. And that's really the only ammunition you have on your side. So, I mean, you're right, there are a ton of horror stories that have come out of China, and a lot of people, including myself, are frightened of doing business in China, so be extra careful.
Thank you. So another regional kind of question. Why is Puerto Rico a big hub for medical device manufacturing? Kind of thoughts around that?
Hi, I'm Ray Tang of Optifold Cosmetics. We're here to solve the world's uneven eyelids problem. The worst thing about having uneven eyelids is waking up in the morning and realizing that today is going to be one of those days where you're constantly worried about your eyelid crease. So you're either doing like weird glittering stares with your eyelids or constantly checking the mirror and only to see that yes, the eyelid crease has failed. Now just totally ruin your day. Well, I'm here to tell you that for a great majority of the cases, you don't actually need surgery to treat your uneven eyelids. If you have uneven eyelids and you're unsure of whether your case can be treatable using Optifold, please contact us. We will help you out. Thanks. Bye.